Welcome to the stream. We back on this. Just know this right here, it's already all wrong. No shoes, feet just up in the air, hands on the floor, head up, checkered floor. If you know anything about the occult and the things that these guys, I guess, like their superstitions or whatever, this is it. That checkered floor. And the fact that he's even in this position is all weird, all messed up. But this guy is a corny pedo, just to keep it real. And I'm gonna get right into this video. Never watched this before, so let's go ahead and see what the weirdest and the worst Epstein files are.
I'm a clinical and forensic page after page with pure redact. I think I really understand Jeffrey Epstein. So I'm going to take a minute to explain him, to explain Ghislaine Maxwell, and then we'll start looking at the actual pictures. But I think being able to understand them before we look at the have to say, this is someone who has very unusual sexual behavior around massage. So this is some sort of fantasy world that he's created. What he desperately wants is to be wanted. He wants these adolescents and these young women to want him. So he creates situations where he's hoping that they will do things voluntarily. They will do things on their own, which of course they're not going to. These are just ridiculous fantasies that he has. He doesn't seem to understand social dynamics very well. He doesn't really understand other people very well. He's very wealthy. I think the dynamic between them is very much actually like parent and child. I think that at his core, Jeffrey Epstein is totally stuck in adolescence or maybe even younger. And Ghislaine Maxwell very much is opportunistic. She very much saw this opportunity. She's taking control. She's trying to provide with him, trying to curate fantasies for him. And so she very much is in absolute control of everything that these victims do. So this were so interesting that I had to include them in.
You know, one thing about it, his wife, Ghislaine Maxwell, she doesn't seem to get any type of heat on her. I noticed that she's alive, she's out there, you know, locked up, and it seems like she gets no heat, no pressure on her. She was literally with Epstein the whole time. She was helping, she was doing things with him. They were on the same team. Like Ghislaine Maxwell, she was intelligent. She was the brains of the organization, just like Epstein was. But Epstein was the face, and I mean, she had a big help in this. She was doing a lot of the same things he was doing. Was he worse? Y'all let me know in the comments. What do y'all think? Was he worse than her? I think he was, to be honest. It's evil Epstein. But Maxwell, she was there too, as well.
Here as well. Now, this picture right here was from the dump on the 19th. Massage for Dummies. Now, this is far more significant than you would think, because I want you to consider this is someone whose life is obsessed with massage. He has massage tables, dozens of massage tables in his house. They are everywhere. He has whole massage rooms. He is obsessed with massage. He has everybody hired for massage. So if you have somebody like that is obsessed with massage, why would they have a Massage for Dummies book? It's because he doesn't hire people for massage. He hires people because he lives in a fantasy world and he fetishizes some behaviors around massage. He has some bizarre fantasy that he insists gets played out. So this shows you everything you need to know. This is not someone.
He explained the Epstein freak-offs. So Epstein, he was a type. He was going after young girls, grown women. He was going after all different types of massage ladies, it sounds like, as well. So Epstein, it wasn't just kids, it was everybody he was targeting, which doesn't make it any better.
The House Oversight Committee should probably have some questions for. Steve Bannon is someone else that also seemed to be quite close to Jeffrey Epstein. That's not a secret. He's come out and talked about the fact that he did some 15-hour-long interview with him. So they are known to associate. Now, what's interesting about this picture is if you look in the background here, there's a photograph of what appears to be a woman passed out on a couch. Maybe she's awake, but it's a very strange position. Obviously, her face rightly is blurred out. But Epstein likes this picture so much, we're actually going to see it again later. He has it hanging up in a different room in his house. So he feels very.
This guy is sick. He had a passed out girl on the couch, chilling on his desk. And he's saying that he has more pictures of this. I'm telling you, this hella screw is loose. And this brain of his, he had mental health for sure. Had to. But it's worse than that, y'all. It's literally he was sacrificing to pagan gods. Him and his team, his whole organization. It wasn't just him.
Proud of this picture for whatever reason. So here's a picture of Jeffrey Epstein, Richard Branson, and the creator of the Segway. Now, one thing that we can say in terms of body language is that all of them have very genuine smiles. If you look at Epstein, for example, the way that his eyes are wrinkled next to his smile, whatever it is they're talking about, they all actually feel.
Nah, man. Evil smiles. Then up to no good. All three of them. All three of them up to no good. Evil smiles, y'all. Don't get caught up. It could seem genuine maybe at the time if you didn't know what they were doing, caught off guard. But I mean, knowing what you know now, you know these are evil smiles.
Feel joy. They all actually feel happy about this. Now, I zoomed in on this piece of paper because I was kind of curious what it said since he was showing it off. And basically, I cleaned it up a little bit. It's still hard to read, but basically, it's calculating out some business idea. $400,000 times 30,000 people or something like that equals $1.2 billion. It looks like there's some kind of math, some kind of product or some kind of idea that they were talking about, but it's all dollar calculations that they're all laughing and talking about for whatever reason. But they all seem to be enjoying each other's company, that's for sure. Now, here's a picture of Epstein and President Trump. This was actually from the December 13th document dump. And you can tell this is a pretty old picture. President Trump looks a good bit younger, but you can tell at this point they looked like they were close friends.
See these two young guys right here back in the day? Just look at these guys. Just looks like a dynamic duo right here. You see these two guys right here? Epstein and Trump. Come on, man. They was up to no good, man. These guys out there in their suits, just going by in life, smooth, no issues, plenty of money, influence, connections, and this is what they decide to do. You know, I can't imagine it. I can't imagine it. I'm still in shock that people actually enjoy these sick, horrendous acts. I don't understand it. This has to be some type of spirit behind this because I can't fathom it. I can't imagine this. This is not normal what these people have done to young boys and girls and to men and women in general.
They're standing very close to each other. I know it's in an enclosed space, but you tend not to be willing to stand this close to somebody that you dislike. So at this point, I think they were still probably getting along quite well. Now, if you look at that picture on the left, that's Bill Gates in an airplane. I presume that's Jeffrey Epstein's airplane. But if we go down, this is a much more interesting picture of Bill Gates. Now, this obviously is Bill Gates many, many years later. He was relatively young in that last picture we saw. And this is where body language comes in because this picture fascinates me. And it puzzles me why, when this was released, they didn't release the full picture, which I'm actually going to show you because it's much more interesting. Anybody can look at Prince Andrew in that picture and tell that he has tension in his face as he's looking at Bill Gates. This was the one that was released by the House Oversight Committee. I'm going to show you what the full picture looks like. This is the actual picture, and the body language in this is fascinating. So you can see Bill Gates just standing normally, body open, arms down, looks totally normal in that picture. Now, Prince Andrew, on the other hand, looks very defensive. His chin is tucked down. We do that to protect our neck. He's got his hand up and almost in a protective way in front of King Charles, which I think is so interesting. And the way that he's looking at Bill Gates right now, he is looking with an incredible amount of tension in his brow. So why Prince Andrew was so fearful at that time, I don't know. But clearly, King Charles looks totally normal in that picture. Just a very normal picture of somebody interacting with somebody else. But Prince Andrew is so tense. I don't know if he was afraid that somehow he would mention how they met each other or somehow that he was fearful that Epstein would come up in some way. But man, Prince Andrew is dialed in and he is very uncomfortable right there. Do you ever watch?
Speaking of Prince Andrew, he got arrested. Just got arrested within the last 24 hours. So he was in a lot of photos. He was very, very active. There's definitely different tiers to how active certain people were in this Epstein Island thing.
watch a trial on the news and then later find out there was a huge piece of the story that you didn't hear about. As a forensic psychologist, I'm always telling people about blind spots, the little details that we miss in somebody's body language or their history that completely changes how we see their behavior. And you can do this with the help of this video sponsor, Ground News. Ground News is consorted with him afterwards, but we know that's not true. Based on emails that have been released, they continue to stay in contact.
Ghislaine Maxwell right here, that's his girl. We got Bill Clinton. I'm not sure who these people are here.
He wanted to stay in contact well after his initial conviction. Now we're going to look at some pictures inside of Epstein's house. I'm going to provide some commentary based on these various pictures, but I want you to keep in mind something I'm not going to show because there's just no point, but is important for you to understand, is that so many of his walls are just covered in pictures of naked people, mostly naked women, but not entirely. But his entire walls are covered with photographs of various people in various forms of undress. And to me, that just, he's trying to create a sexually charged atmosphere. That's the goal there. He's hoping that other people know who he is and understand him without him having to say anything. So that's the point of that. Keep in mind, the way that we express ourselves in our environment is a representation of who we are psychologically. That's true of anybody. I've said this on other videos. Someone who's disorganized inside, your environment's going to be disorganized. If you're someone who's very controlled, you're going to have a very clean environment. So keep in mind, the goal of having all those pictures is to groom. It is not because he just loves the human form so much that he wants to have all of this art to look at it. The goal of it is for people to understand who he is. Now, that doesn't mean that people can't have pictures with nudity and stuff like that, and it doesn't necessarily mean they're perverse, but he is. So understand that's why he has it. That doesn't mean that's why everybody would have it. But when you look at everything added together, it really makes sense why he keeps so much of that kind of material around his house. Now, the reason I'm showing this picture, if you see this cord right here dangling, you can see the connection. Well, you probably can't see very well because the quality is not great, but the connections here are audio video. So he does have a lot of things around the house that are capable of recording. Now, it could be that it was just a setup for a TV, but keep in mind, his house was capable of an incredibly complex wiring system. Whether or not he was monitoring everything and secretly recording it, he certainly had the capacity to. His house had the infrastructure for that type of things. But then when we start looking at nearby rooms, these are the kinds of massage tables I'm talking about. Let's look at the rest of this room so you can see what I'm talking about when I talk about how he fetishizes massage so deeply. So here's a shelf that's right above the massage table. Now, the shelf has all sorts of massage oils on it. It also has sexual lubricants on it. All of these things are meant to.
This guy is Diddy times a million. He got mad baby oil. He got, look at this right here. This is the slick. This is the lube, oils, mad massage tables. I mean, the cameras is crazy. I mean, he had cameras in every room. This guy was literally trying to watch everything. But the biggest thing about it is I feel like he just wanted to have leverage on people, he wanted to blackmail people, all types of stuff. So I think it was definitely deeper than just his fetish.
Imply that there's going to be more to whatever goes on than just normal massage. This is how predators try to groom people. They try to surround them with these things, try to normalize it as much as they can so that people feel compelled to do the things that he wants them to do. Now, what I presume is the adjacent bathroom, just because of the way the pictures were taken. There's also various sex toys and drawers. There's costumes here. These costumes are this is a mask. All of this is for fantasy because he doesn't really care about these. If you see this picture, now he did not have this picture made. This was done by an artist that was not hired by Jeffrey Epstein. Obviously, this is a picture of Clinton wearing the Monica Lewinsky dress. And so the fact that he has this right when you walk in, and it shows this from a different angle.
Just letting y'all know, see, Epstein, this is what he likes. This is the stuff he likes. So just know if you're confused in your brain about liking trans humans and all that different types of alphabet soup, you need to do some deep research and ask God to restore your mind and your heart to be normal. Because this right here is not normal. A man in a woman's dress will never be normal, ever. A man trying to be a woman will never be normal. It's not safe. It's not real. It's not how it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be man and woman, Adam and Eve, not Adam and Steve, and not Eve and Yvette. You feel me? So Epstein was thinking perverted. He was thinking the opposite of how God wants it to be. So you need to make sure there's certain people out there, okay? I don't think it's the majority, definitely not. But there's people out there that need to go soul searching, okay? Because this is exposure of evil. Epstein has done evil, and this is perversion as well.
Angle. Right when you walk in the place, it is right there looking at you. So when you go into his house, the first thing you're going to see is this Clinton painting staring right at you. There's so many artifacts and pictures related to Bill Clinton. I just think that he had so much affection for him at one point. Now, he lost some of his trust because through his emails, you can see that at one point he basically said,
Yeah, see, that's fishy. He had too much affection for another man, and he had his photo up. That's how he looks. That's how he looks at him. In my opinion, that's how he sees him.
that Clinton can lie too easily. He lied to him about something. He didn't like that. But other than that, I think they were about as close as he could be to anybody. Now, this is a different angle of his New York apartment that we've seen before, where he has this absolutely bizarre woman hanging from a rope in a wedding dress. There's no accounting for taste. He has an incredibly strange taste in art, which is exactly what you would expect from somebody this perverse and that doesn't understand people. So much, at least to me, of understanding art is understanding people. If you don't understand people, your art's going to suck. And it seems like what he likes, what he's drawn to, is bad art because I don't think he understands people very well. Now, here's an entire box of hard drives. So, whether it was him or he had a tech guy, somebody knew what they were doing. You can't have this many hard drives with whatever kind of data on them and save these without having somebody that can handle these things. Because keep this in mind. Let's say that this was for a security system. For Jeffrey was good enough. I hope that's what you were looking for. These people didn't care about giving him these things, but this helped create the fantasy that she believed that he wanted, which probably was something else. Nothing was authentic. Maxwell was trying to create a fantasy for Epstein, and she did. But Maxwell definitely was trying to create some sort of specific fantasy for Epstein. Now, here's a sweatshirt from the IDF. I don't know if that was gifted to him. I don't know why he has that, but I.
Hmm. Hmm. Looks like he's tied to Israel Defense Forces. Suspicious. So, if he's tied to Israel, and we know that Epstein is sick, evil, corrupt, ah, it's a correlation here. It seems like possibly Revelation chapter 2, verse 9, if y'all look into that verse, hmm, I may be able to put some things together on what's really going on. Because is there like a fakery going on? Possibly, huh? Yeah. You know what? Yeah. Something's going on. Something sounds fishy. Something's fake. I think there's maybe people saying they're one thing, but maybe it's all lies. Maybe they're not what they say they are. Maybe the real people, the real Jews, huh? Maybe the real Jews are the melanated people. Huh, I think so. But man, just it's deep. It's deep. There's a people that call themselves Jews, but they're not. They're the synagogue of Satan. Y'all look that up in the Bible. That's just free game. Okay? The Bible, nothing but free game. Follow God, free salvation. Be close to God, pray, follow his commandments the best you can. Relationship first, salvation. But you have to know this too before I start the video. You cannot lack knowledge. His people perish because of lack of knowledge. So be full of wisdom and read. Spend time. Spend time with the Lord, Father God in heaven. Because this right here is so obvious. Just look at this. Israel Defense Forces, y'all. He's connected to Israel. Um, Not looking good. Not looking good out there.
A lot of people have speculated that he had connections to Israel in this way. Things like this certainly are not going to dissuade people from believing that. Now, this is the full picture of something that I talked about in a different video. So this is this big blackboard of all of these words, power, deception, all of this. It just seems like this pseudo intellectual nonsense. But now I much better understand why he had this. And it is pseudo intellectual nonsense. None of this is meaningful in any way. However, when you look behind this blackboard, there's something different. So the blackboard, you can move the blackboard, and behind it, obviously, it's a man looking at a woman. And that is, if nothing else, represents exactly who Jeffrey Epstein is. On the outside, he's this pseudo intellectual who wants to appear smart, and that's what he wants everybody to see. But behind it, he just thinks of everything in terms of how he sees women and girls. All of it's nonsense, all of it's fake. It's all just fantasy. Now, here we are back with Clinton. These are pictures that hadn't previously been seen, but it shows what a close relationship he has with these people. Maxwell's in there too. Now, the way that I see Clinton is very different than the way that I see Jeffrey Epstein. Epstein's someone who wanted to create elaborate fantasy and needed that for his self-esteem. I think of Clinton as being very different. I think that in a lot of ways they have some overlapping issues, but I don't think that he cares about fantasy at all. I think that he wants what he wants, and he doesn't really care how people feel about it. He doesn't really care about the fantasy created around it all. So I think they're very, very different in that way. But I also think
this is an example of lust at an all-time extreme. You gotta be able to control your flesh. When you don't, evil shit happens. And that's what the devil wants you to do. The devil wants people just to throw themselves around and just fornicate. But that's what they were doing. They were just using people. They were just using kids. They were just using women and men in evil manners just to get off their lust and just to feed into their flesh, which is evil. You can't do that. And that's what we see.
Clinton to the island and so on and so forth. So it's interesting here to show her own enthusiasm for helicopters. I see pictures like this and really reflect on the fact that this man could have had whatever he wanted, done whatever he wanted, traveled wherever.
Hey, look at this smirk, man. Every time I see this face, it's just so annoying. It's such a punchable face. And this smirk is always this weird grin. And she right here, I ain't gonna lie, she seems like she's just having a great time. They probably just got done doing some type of sacrifice, doing some type of massage, doing something wrong, something they had no business doing, something evil. These people were literally sacrificing the innocent kids to their pagan god, Molech. And he had a bank account named after a pagan god called Baal. And Baal and Molech is in the Bible. If you read Leviticus, you'll see it. Leviticus 18 talks about how they basically sacrificed kids to this pagan god called Molech. And usually they did it through fire. And this is what they're doing. They're sacrificing these innocent babies, these souls, to the devil. And that's why the devil, he wants soul. He wants to kill. And the Bible says the devil comes to kill, steal, and destroy. And that's what these people are doing. Killing, stealing, and destroying people's lives. But yeah, on that note, man, I'm not even gonna finish watching this, bro. Like, this is enough of this stuff for the tonight. This is bullshit. And I mean, what can we say? We just gotta keep exposing the evil because this is a massacre. Unbelievable. And this should just we need justice at the end of the day. We need justice, we need reform, we need repentance, we need everything. We need all of that. We gotta know who God is and just trust in him and see evil for what it is and fight against it at all costs. In Christ's holy name. All praises to Yahweh. So yeah, I'm out. Peace and blessings, y'all.